What's it really like doing business in Italy? From 6-month payment terms to deals sealed over pasta. Italy's mix of passion, hierarchy, and flexibility might surprise you. We sit down with Marco Pistis, top lawyer, academic, and true insider, to unravel the quirks, culture, and contradictions of Italian business life. Check it out. Welcome to a very special episode with a special title, Business Without Baggage, a series where we dive into the often challenging world of global business and culture. We'll be talking to our friends from around the world about what it's really like to do business with the countries that they live in. Today is Marco Pistis. Marco is a rare combination of top-tier corporate lawyer and an accomplished academic. He is managing partner of IPG law firm, advising on corporate law, arbitration and governance across Italy and internationally. He is also qualified before Italian Supreme Court of Cassation as a solicitor also in England and Wales, and has authored numerous articles on topics from AI to renewable energy. Marco, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Now, this is wonderful to be together. In fact, the idea for this podcast, I think, is something you shared and helped create. Obviously, you know you've got a foot in both camps, and you've spent enough time in the UK and even qualified as a solicitor here, which gives you a nice overview, I guess, of both sides of the coin.
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago. But I still remember something.
I mean, we're here to discuss, I always think the Brits and Italians have this bond in a way. There's something that brings us together. Maybe it's the rebellion, I always wonder. But we're going to run through some questions and start chatting it through in terms of what is really like doing business in Italy. So let's just start with an opener, shall we? What's really important to Italy in terms of business culture? So, punctuality is important in Britain.
Oh, that's very hard to say. I would say it's very important to dress well.
To dress well, as I'm slightly favored.
I'm joking. Empathy is a very strong point. We want to deal with people that we can trust and that are funny and that we can really bond.
Quite emotional.
Yes, it's an emotional approach to business. Absolutely, yes.
That's, as an outsider, that's what I feel with Italian business, that it's very passionate. We have that quirky, humorous side of us, but actually, what was the joke someone said to me about British and Italians? An Italian talking about a British person having sex. A British person is the sort of person who folds their underpants before, having sex, as the Italians whip it all off. And, it's it feels like that business to you. It's a sort of more passionate affair to you.
Yeah, it is.
That's very interesting.
Yes, I think about that Italy is a big place and behaviors are very different in very different regions. So if you go to northern Italy, that difference might be less. But if you go to southern Italy, the passionate approach is surely there.
So northern, more the Germanic influence, the more sensible influence.
But at the end of the day, from Sicily to northern Italy, I think the passionate approach is true all around Italy.
Business is personal then?
Yes, it is personal. Yeah, so many businesses run by friends, by close friends, by families, yeah.
Family business is huge.
Yes, huge.
Does it mean there's more falling out then? There's more getting upset?
I used to think that you shouldn't, mix friendship and business, but now I think friendships and business, they go along very well, because at the end of the day, the advantages are much more than the disadvantages. So I tend to work with friends, getting old.
Yeah, and as I get older, and I don't mean this in a nasty way, but friends come and go. You make new friends. You keep old friends,
Yeah, that's different. You think, I come from a very small city in northern Italy. My parents are from Sardinia, though. And I thought, You want to think that you keep friends your entire cycle of life, and that's not true. You meet new people, and sometimes different friendships for different ages as well.
You outgrow people is the sad truth, or they outgrow you.
Yeah, exactly. Or simply, some friends, they stay for life, I think, but some others come and go. And new friendships, I think, I met so many people in business that are friends now. I don't know about you, but it's
sure.
Amazing. And, I met them in the late 30s, in the 40s. Even now, I make wonderful friendships in business.
Context is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
You actually can get on with people really well and be very close friends. And then sometimes that context gets removed. Maybe you stop playing that sport or you stop having that thing in common. And then you meet them and you don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
And then as you say, there's the evergreen friends who might be, you make each other laugh, or do you know what I mean? Or you appreciate each other's wisdom or.
Yeah, or you met them simply in a time that was beyond what you do. It's just love. It's just a feeling, and it doesn't matter if you don't have anything to say. They will be part of your life forever.
It's so central to Italian feeling and emotion, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's central for human beings. Yeah. Sometimes they just pretend it isn't.
Well, I always think of our American cousins that they have that phrase, it's not business, it's personal. It's not, it's not personal, it's business. And I don't think that really makes, I think in Britain, all business is personal again. But maybe we're quite reserved anyway. We definitely hold back our emotions. You know?
That's different, okay? It's being reserved doesn't mean that you don't feel emotions.
No.
It's just a protection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes when, it's true in business and in life, when you remove those protections, you can take some risks of being hurt. And but for Italians, I think it's just something that we can't avoid. It's just who we are. And that's something that makes us great in a way. So it's, I think you cannot be something else. You cannot pretend to be similar to someone else if you're different. You just need to accept it and take the advantages of it. So this is the way we do business. We can be very creative. We can be very flexible. We can be smart. And that's something we can work on.
So British people, for instance, should be more open with their emotions, should they, with dealing with Italians, and more, as we would say, heart on our sleeves, but like more expressive. That's helpful, is it?
Well, I don't know, because my wife is so different than me. It's that very impressive. And sometimes if you are an Italian, you would like to be British. So you should be British. In doing business with us. That's what I think.
Strange that the Italian, you said an interesting thing. If you're Italian, you might want to be British. I always feel that the British want to be Italians and then the Italians sometimes want to be British, which is very surprising to us because we think, well, you've got all this good stuff.
No. When I come to London, it's amazing. It's amazing. You're amazing people. You did so many interesting things.
Wow, it's nice of you to say. We don't feel like that, to be honest. But that, that's maybe our psyche. But my friend said it to me, who's Italian, years ago. She said, "You are straight." She was saying how in Italy you never quite know where you are. People make promises and then they don't.
That's so very true. We might discuss this later. We have an office in Rome. Okay. And my partner, Giovanni, runs the office in Rome. And he says, no one says no in Rome. You go to a business meeting and you think, wow, I've done something today. And then you get back and nothing happens because nobody says to you, no, that's not going to happen. Whether, dealing with clarity sometimes is refreshing.
Well, we never say yes. We just have lots of ways to say no. We don't like saying yes because if we say yes, we really mean yes. So we have to follow through,
which is good.
Yeah, actually, you're right, because her example years ago was that she'd been promised this bonus by an Italian boss. And then she said, "Oh, what's going on?" And he was like, "Oh, and she was like, that wouldn't happen here." And it's true. If you did, I mean, it could happen, sure. But 90% of the time, if someone said you're going to do it, they then have to honor that feeling,
As I said, we tend to be flexible.
Yeah, okay.
But then it really becomes about who you are at the very bottom of your heart, especially if you have an Italian which is different and who doesn't like this, is going to become more trustworthy than any other person in the world because he has something to prove. So that's why I think sometimes Italian managers are fantastic because they are used to deal with flexible people.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they can become very good managers.
Yeah, okay. Understanding how to pick up. And
they need to prove that Italians are not like that.
Right.
And so you do it even more.
And what's the culture in terms then with that flexibility, for instance, a simple example, how long would it take for an invoice to get paid? Is it 30 days or is it
30 days?
Really? That's laughable, is it?
No, that's a huge difference.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it can take up to 6 months.
What, to get paid?
Yeah. And we're not talking about unpaying clients. We're just talking about regular clients. Yeah. It can take very long.
Wow.
Well, unless we have many corporate clients, so that's a bit different, but not that much. It can take months.
Wow. And that's just normal. You chase, do you? Should you chase heavily or is that rude? Or
No, we don't. You don't normally. Yeah, it really depends by the scale of the business.
You deal with, on the whole, the average payment time is 6 months. They don't need to be chased. They just get around to it after 6 months.
Yeah, I'm not talking about every client, but it's not uncommon. Let's say that. We have corporations, they pay in 30 days, but there are quite exceptions.
Is there a feeling towards the big corporations that they should be better behaved?
Well, I don't know how it works in England. I've heard about big corporations paying in 6 months.
It's the other way around here. Little people tend to try and pay each other quickly, but once they're big, they use their power to push it down. It should be illegal in my view.
It's a huge corporation, so I cannot say that. But I remember that they were exiting the major acquisitions and they were basically delaying the payments in order not to borrow monies from the bank.
That's what they do here, the big companies. They can say, we'll push all the payment terms
Banks
to 90
in
days.
Italy, they pay lawyers in 6 months, even more.
Wow. And if you were doing a Zoom or people be on time for these things, again, does it depend on northern, southern Italy? It's like you're meeting with a client, they're not turning up 20 minutes late all the time, are they? Or
the hotter you go, the later it is. For example,
don't go down to
in
Puglia,
deep
then.
south in Italy, it's, time meeting is a suggestion. And but I don't want to talk about stereotypes, because it's funny. Otherwise, we talk about spaghetti and mandolin.
Yeah.
But at the very end,
time is a suggestion. It's hilarious to a British person.
But no, in normal business, we're quite punctual, I think.
You have to be probably as a professional, don't you? I mean, you can't be like, oh, I decided to come later.
Yes, but it's not like for the Brits.
Yeah, okay.
But if you go to Milan, it's not that different than London.
To London, yeah.
So it really depends on the context. But I remember, but it's quite interesting, because you think you're talking about stereotypes, but they are not. I used to live in London with people from all around Europe because I won a scholarship for lawyers a long time ago. And we had this judge from Norway, okay? And we used to organize party with Portuguese and Spanish, okay? And we had a lot of fun. And we were astonished because the guy from Norway, he used to take his own beers to the party. And he told us it was quite normal in Norway. We were like, for us, sharing is, fundamental in friendships and parties. So he used to take his own beers.
We would do that in Britain, maybe. We would take some and you can have a couple, but I'm going to drink them too.
No, but he was drinking his own beers by himself and he didn't pay for the party.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, also when I lived with my Italian friend, the Italians would ring up all day worrying about food. What food are you bring? Oh, I do the cannelloni. Oh, I do that, and they talk. Whereas the British people ringing up and they do talk about alcohol. They just talk about like how much booze have we got coming? Like, have we got enough booze? No one would ever mention food. And then all the British people would eat all the food and the Italians would drink all the booze,
Something it might be worth underline is that food is an important part of the business in Italy. Most of the big decisions are taken at lunches and dinners.
Are they?
Yes.
Drink alcohol?
No.
You're there for the food.
Yeah, it's much more for the food. Whether at dinner, yeah, we do that.
Nice.
So if you go to a business dinner, then you're allowed to drink.
Yeah. But you're much more sensible with your drinking, you'll have a glass or 2 glasses. I've hung around with the beach in Puglia, and I remember like people will have 1 beer and then an hour later they'll have 1 more bottle of beer. And I'd sit there with British people and we just like beer. There's not this sort of demand to get wasted that we sort of.
But I think that's because you are so reserved and compressed. That's the result. I remember I was impressed. I postgraduated in Sheffield, and sociality is so different. I remember this very old professor. He used to get wasted at the pub. And one night, it was one of the first nights I was there, he was flat on the pub's floor and nobody cared about it. It was quite normal. Yeah. And I was like, is he a professor? And they were like, yeah, he is. And I was like, okay, that's different. That's different.
Well, that leads me nicely into my next question. Hierarchically, is it flat?
It's a very hierarchical.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Family businesses, you can imagine. The founder.
Dad,
yeah.
son.
But even law firms.
Hierarchy is important. Does information struggle to flow up?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, okay.
They do.
So it's important to work out a bit like where are you in the hierarchy? Are you talking to Big Boss or are you talking to?
Yes, that's very present in Italian business.
Right.
Yeah, things are changing very fast, because now it's so fancy to be flat.
Yeah.
But it's still resisting, especially family businesses. They are very hierarchical, I think.
And family business must take up you mentioned them before, there must be a huge percentage of business.
Yeah, they are a huge percent of business, but they're also big corporations. But the mid-market runs the business in any way. We have so very few big corporations. The heart of the Italian businesses is mid-market.
Oh, the mid-market. Yeah. Okay. See, well, we share that, Britain.
Yeah, absolutely.
We actually don't have many really big businesses. It's all mid-market.
It's not like in the States.
No. Or Germany or France.
Or Germany.
They have
or
huge,
even France. Even France.
True. They have huge businesses, we are really a nation of shopkeepers, as they say, mid-market, small, medium,
yeah, and they are the best clients, if I can say, sometimes. Because you can make an impact as a professional, I mean.
Yeah, and you work with, you can make a difference. You can have fun. I find with the big corporates, what happens is I go to a meeting at 1, and I tell them the things they need to do, and they're like, oh, great. And you go back a year later or 6 months later, you're dealing with different people. They can't remember. You tell them all. And one of the things was like, guys, you're doing something sort of illegal over here. You need to fix it. You've got your tax wrong. Oh, right. And then after 2 years of that, I end up like going, oh my God. And so I have to write an email putting in writing that I have told you all, and I keep telling you all, you need to do certain things, but no one wants to do it. It's like a merry-go-round. There's no memory. I remember doing this thing for a client where we saved them loads of money. It was a massive deal. And then like 4 or 5 years later, meeting them and saying, oh, have you heard about this very clever thing we've done? Oh, it's very clever. And we've saved a fortune. And I'm like, yeah, that's my thing that I told. Oh, were you involved? I was like, and I remember just thinking to me, I'll just be quiet because I wanted to be really upset. It's like
corporations are very strange animal. I watch very interesting documentary about a huge corporation, and they made this experiment. They tried to understand how decisions are taken in a big corporation and what's the human type they can be associated with. And it becomes at the very end of the documentary that corporation is a psychopath. Because when they are very big, there is no link between the decision and the effects of the decision.
Like a psychopath, like this sort of this lack of empathy again.
Yes.
They stop caring.
Yes. So I think the whole ESG thing is interesting for these reasons, because it gives corporations the possibility to interrogate themselves about the impact of their decisions into the real world, and not just in the business.
Yeah, it's a necessity to challenge them on that level, is it? You know?
It is, because they're so powerful today. They're like states.
Yeah.
We need to do something, to be sure that things and effects are analyzed properly.
Is the culture quite collaborative or quite individualistic?
I don't think there are people more individualists than Italians.
Oh.
In lawyers, it's a huge problem, and a really huge problem. Yeah, we are really individualists. Yeah, there are some things. Sometimes the magic happens, and we can do things much better than any other person in the world. But most of the times, we are individualists.
Yeah, how interesting. Yeah, it's almost such an important part of being Italian, to be yourself, isn't it? To express yourself.
Yeah, I don't think it's something we think about. Because otherwise, think this. The Italian is one of the few places in the world where the perception of Italy is worse for Italians than for foreigners. So foreigners think much better things about Italy than Italians.
Maybe that's something we share again, because I think British people really don't think well of ourselves. And I bump into people occasionally who think, well, there's not many countries, but I learned recently Russia has got loads of respect for Britain. I'm like, really?
But think about France.
Yes.
They do something and they feel so proud about it, and they just sell it all around the world, and that's marketing in a way.
Do Italians you feel failure? Why do you feel bad? I mean, you've achieved so much.
First of all, you have to think that we are a very young state.
Yes, true.
Because we were divided in so many.
Yeah, you're like 100 years old or something.
And so the results of that division is that Italy is a young state again. So I think that's the historical reason. And it's like Europe. Think about Europe. It's the same, I think at the time of Mazzini, proudness of Europe was more present than today.
At the time of who, Mazzini?
Yeah, Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary that emigrated to London because he didn't want to be killed in Italy, and basically it was the beginning of Italy. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so he came to London and he organized a lot of things in favor of the United Italy, but also in favor of the United Europe.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very hard to bring people together. Being in business in real life, it's very hard to keep people together.
That's interesting that just being a young nation means that by its very nature, it's more tribal and almost more individualistic. There's lots of different areas, people kind of more worry, or their identity is less national.
And they want to count, probably. That's the reason.
Yeah.
They want to be seen.
What do you think about societal expectation from employees in terms of, do employees expect a lot now?
Yes, they
holiday,
do.
Maternity leave?
They do, because we have one of the legislations more in favor of employees in the world, I think.
Really, very pro.
Yeah, pro-employee. I think France is a bit better than us, but we're very, very close. So long holidays, a huge attention of work-life balance. Yeah.
When you employ someone in Italy, how long until they have employment rights and you can't fire them as you wish?
Oh, if it really depends on the size of the company.
Oh, right.
So it's very easy to fire if you have less than 16 employees.
1-6.
Then 15 employees,
15,
1-5. After 15, it's very complicated.
Oh, right. The moment you're more than 15 people as in a business and I hire someone day one and then day two, I decide.
You can have a trial period. Yeah.
How long is that?
It really depends on the type of business. We have collective contracts.
Okay.
So, but it can be. I don't think it can. I'm not an employment lawyer, but in my experience of employer, I don't think it can be more than 6 months. Then you can have temporary contracts. You can have other things. But if you employ a person in a company that's more than 15 employees, it's going to be a real problem to fire them. And it's going to cost you a huge amount of money. And it's also complicated. You can't even settle. You have to go to a conciliator. Can you say something like that?
A sort of mediator.
A mediator, an employment mediator, and sign in front of him.
Okay.
So it's even procedural. It's not easygoing. That's a problem for Italian business. As you might remember, automotive sector tended to transfer a lot of their employees from Italy to Poland.
Did they?
Yeah, for example, or in Eastern Europe, because the labor cost in Italy is huge.
That means businesses struggle to grow in a way.
I think that's one of the reasons why we don't have big companies.
Simple as, yeah.
Especially if you are in an industrial sector where the employees' costs tend to be very high, and if it costs you double than any other country in Europe, it's a problem. It's a huge problem.
That's interesting. What are the language or cultural cues that people from outside Italy might miss or confuse most often, do you think? What are sort of standard misunderstandings?
Maybe if we kiss a Chinese to say hi.
Oh, when you kiss, you like to kiss.
Yeah.
I know. I was with someone recently and we kept hanging out and it was a man and they kept sort of coming at me and I was kind of going like, what? And I was suddenly like, oh, they keep trying to kiss me on the cheek. And they keep realizing too, I'm British. And I'm like, whoa, don't kiss me. I'm a man. And it was and I should get used to it. And they were adjusting in England. But you would kiss on the cheek, do you?
Yeah. Of invading other people's space. I think that's another thing.
You like to do that, isn't that?
No, it's not that we like, but that's something that can happen in Italy. Again, it really depends where and when, but I'm not too surprised if that happens.
So if I meet someone for the first time in Italy, they know I'm British, so they probably just shake my hand. But would you kiss on the cheek the first time you meet someone?
No, I don't think I would kiss a man in the cheek. But if there is a sympathy or a confidence, and sometimes
what's a confidence?
If you understand that person can become close.
No, I think we get to a point in our friendships in Britain that we hug.
Yeah, exactly.
Men hug here, and in a lot of countries, even that is very peculiar. It's always tricky hugging a Jamaican. That's always a funny experience. They go like they don't know what to do. They go all like wooden, and you're like, and it's this really awkward moment, and you're like, they don't do touching. But okay, so a client you know really well, when you see him, one kiss on one cheek?
No, if I hug with my friends.
Yeah,
and sometimes I hug and I kiss.
So it's more like when you're really close, you add a kiss as a kind of like,
yes.
To be honest, even my closest friends sometimes, I'll kiss them on the cheek, but I mean, I'm a bit weird. But yeah, it's probably a little bit too much. That's funny.
But I have one of my best friends, he married an Italian girl and he's from Northern Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
And we hug. But they're Irish. They're much much more like us.
We hug with my friends, yeah. I mean, I'm always saying to Dee, there's this very common London thing where you do the hands and you put your shoulder in. But because I went to posh school and stuff, I'm not very good at it. So I panic every time that happens. So it's always a bit awkward. And I just can't, I just need to relax. I just need to be cool and do it. But I'm like, every time I'm doing it, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Can we just hug? It's very cool. It's very street, all the men, they all do this slap and then they lean in and do this sort of shoulder. It's very like, whoa. Anyway, I can't quite do it very well. What about small talk? So Italians are very emotional. It's important to have quite a lot of small talk in business. The chit chat.
Okay, I can tell you what you don't talk about. You don't talk about money in Italy. How much you make.
Okay.
Which is quite normal in the States, for example.
Yeah.
It's really, really rude.
Here too.
Very rude. We tend to talk about food.
And what you ate recently, what you're having for dinner.
Yes, I think that's the small talk. If you know a place, if you don't know a place, if you ever been there.
Yeah, okay. That's nice. So, and religion?
No. That's private.
America may be the odd one out because they said, Lewis said in Spain, don't talk about money. Britain, don't talk about money. It's not polite. So if I want to do a job proposal, I want to estimate a fee, that's all by email, is it? Sort of privately? And would you negotiate? So, I'm estimating for a job in whatever industry. I give them a proposal.
I make a proposal during the interview.
Okay.
Yes. Or 100% of the time. And then that will be followed by an email and a contract and whatever. But we make the proposal there.
And then if I say, hey, Marco, I want a better price, is that rude or is that okay?
Let me think about it. No, I don't think it's rude. No.
But do you spend much time negotiating the price?
I don't. Most of the times I have an offer in mind and that's it. But not because I don't want to negotiate. It's just because, you have equilibrium balance in the firm. And so if you think that person is there, and then most of the times, but that's us. It has nothing to do with Italians. I think it's much better to have that person in at the price that you think is fit. And then you can, see how the performance is and then make the adjustments.
Yeah.
I prefer that way instead
Start somewhere and then say next time.
Make the adjustments in good faith.
And then wait 6 months to get paid.
Yeah.
There should be an adjustment for that.
Yeah, but the problem is only for the first 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, not all the clients pay in 6 months. What I was trying to say is that it's not totally unusual.
No.
So let's say 20% of the clients can do that.
Yeah.
But 90 days is quite normal. So it's definitely longer.
Let's do some sort of fun things, like best thing about doing business with Italians. What's the best thing?
Again, food.
Yeah. It's so important.
They can bring you in very nice places and eat very decent food anywhere around Italy.
And how early in the relationship first meeting you might have?
Yes, I normally meet new people at lunch.
Okay, and you take them to, I guess in Italy, all the food's Italian. I mean,
yeah. Well, if I have people coming from abroad, I try to make them eat the regional cuisine. So not even just the classic Italian, but the plates the dishes that are.
And you're from?
I'm based in Turin and I work in Milan 2-3 times a week. But Turin is much better for food.
And what's the dish of Turin? What's its most famous dish?
Agnolotti.
Agnolotti. What is that?
Some kind of ravioli.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And a lot of meat.
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian though, so I need to take people in the places that I know and that I remember that are fine for them. But other things, truffles in Piemonte especially. Risotto.
What's Milan famous for? Meat, isn't it? Again,
meat. Yeah, risotto again. But it's not that different. If you go to Puglia, for example, that's very different. A lot of vegetables. Any region, you eat very different food. Very different food. You can come to Italy, make a trip for a year, and eat different food every day.
Biggest hurdle to overcome doing business in Italy?
Stereotypes again.
Stereotypes.
Yeah.
Don't have them, or what do you mean?
I mean, sometimes people think they don't completely trust Italians. That's one problem.
Okay.
Just you think something different. You just think that they think they're smarter than you. They think they want to cheat you, things like that.
Yeah, assumptions. They just make assumptions.
Yeah, exactly. But that's for, every time you meet someone with a different culture, you tend to think that you know the behaviors, and most of the times you're wrong. So that's the most important thing. Try to judge the person, beyond nationality.
How is it to trade with Italy, to sell to Italy?
It's very easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're very easygoing. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And how difficult is it to set up a bank account?
Oh, it's very easy, apart from anti-money laundering regulation compliance, QIC, because that's the same all around Europe. But in general, it's very easy. You can open a bank account quite easily.
For an Italian company?
Yes. For a foreign company, it really comes to compliance issues. People from some states, it's a bit more difficult. Sometimes it can take months. People from Europe is very easy. It really depends on that. It used to be very easy, but I remember, for example, when I came to UK, and it was EU, and it took me a long time to open a bank.
Oh yeah, it's tough here because it's so easy to form a company. It's really hard to open a bank account. Is it hard to open a company in Italy?
One day.
You can open a company in Italy in a day.
It's changed very much.
Wow, when did that change?
Over time, I think. And then you might take a few days to be registered in the company registry, but it's really quick now.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you can form a company in a day, and you can get a bank account open.
You still need the notary, so you need to take an
notary.
appointment with the notary, but it's very easy.
Oh, that's great.
And most of the times you open the bank account and you open the company, but the company cannot be active until you have the bank account. So it takes much longer to open the bank account than the company itself.
And how long does it take to open the bank account, roughly?
It really depends on the nationality.
Okay. For foreign-owned Italian company, take a while.
Foreign-owned Italian company, it can take a while. It took me a few months from a non-European nationality.
Do you think it matters in Italy, if you are expanding into Italy and setting up in Italy, do you think it's important to be in a capital city or you should be in Milan?
No, it's not like UK. It's not like UK where London is fundamental. Rome is more the, political and administrative capital. But for example, if you want to be close to the financial world, you need to go to Milan. But it's not just Rome and Milan. There are so many cities which are active. Some companies from Germany and Austria, they want to open a company near the border. So they open many companies in Veneto or very close to the borders. So it really depends. But it's not like London that everything
dominates.
Yeah. So, but Milan is becoming important.
But you would probably start in northern Italy, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's where the business kind of is.
Yes. But you have to think about Lombardy, and is probably the richest region in Europe, even richer than some regions in Germany.
Wow. Which of the towns in Lombardy? Is that Bologna? No. What's Lombardy?
Lombardy is Milan.
Ah, okay. That's the region of Milan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that's where there's this tax relief lots of people go to Italy for, that you pay 10% on the first million and then nothing after.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So you've got lots of celebrities or wealthy people knocking around.
Yes, Milan is becoming interesting for foreigners. They like Italy, and it's a very good bridge for nice places, and the city has become. It's not a big city. It's not London because it's 2 million people. So we are attracting many high net worth individuals for that, and we will see. I was reading an article today, which was very interesting, and it made me think that Milan is becoming like London and New York, a place where only rich people can be happy, which is something we should think about, because it used to be easy to live in Milan, and it's becoming more and more difficult for people not making enough money.
It's a bit like that in London, although at the moment, I mean, there's so many wealthy people leaving London. It'll adjust a bit. I mean, property prices are coming down a bit. They can't sell these really expensive homes at the moment. You know, the stuff that's sort of 2 million plus, the prices are dropping, you know, because what was happening before is so many super rich would turn up and they'd all want to live in central London. They'd buy up a place in Mayfair for 20 million. That person would go and move out of London a little bit. They'd move a couple of boroughs out, you know, a little bit further out and buy a big house. And that was sort of creating this sort of constant London prices just go up and up and up because you're competing internationally. It's still true, but there's a huge amount of millionaires and people who've left because of changes to the tax rules and stuff. You know, we're doing the opposite of what Italy does, really. We're making it very unattractive to come as a foreigner. You know, we're making it, you know, if you're a wealthy person coming here, we're going to hit you with inheritance tax. We're going to hit you with this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of political will behind that. Although I just saw in the newspaper this morning, even the Labour Party is now wanting to make an exception because so many wealthy people have left. More than any other country in the world have left. 16,000, they estimate, in the last year, millionaires. And I'm helping some of them do it. And it's, you know, it's not complicated. It's, you know, people come from foreign countries. They're globally mobile. They're wealthy globally. I think it's people just forget how global tax is, you know, and that so many people are not just born and bred from London. Do you know what I mean? They're foreigners, or they're originally from Italy, or they're American, or whatever. And if you start saying you're going to hit them with a lot of tax, they're like, oh, well, I've had a nice time here. I'm off. You know, it's not complicated for them, you know.
No, it's not.
I'll go to Italy for a bit, you know, and if they change the rules there, maybe I'll go back to America, or maybe I'll move to wherever, you know, I'll go to Portugal for a bit, you know. They can go wherever they wish. But anyway, it's misunderstood, sadly.
But it's a problem then.
It is a big problem here at the moment. They estimate it's crazy numbers, like 20 billion in tax revenues being lost just by being, and they were hoping to get more money running because the headline is, let's tax those rich people. It's their fault. And lots of people are just like, well, I'm off, you know, I'll see you around.
Yeah, I knew about the fact, but I didn't knew about the amount.
More millionaires have left the UK than India or China. Last year, we were second after China. This year, we're top of the league of millionaires leaving. So it's a big deal.
But you had so many.
We had loads. But the funny thing is people think that we're being too nice to them. And then you say, well, in Italy, first of all, it's Italy with better weather and better food and, you know, all these great things about Italy. And they have a really attractive 10% tax rate on the first million. And then that's it. But they come and they spend their money. So anyway, it's a bit of a mistake.
think it became 200,000.
200,000. It's 200,000 now.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm not a tax lawyer.
No, but it's nothing then when you're rich.
But it's even better because some people were scared that things could change. And so making a move, the government underlined that because all those that did it before, they were not touched by the new rule.
Right, so they stay on it.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, you can come. It's a friendly environment. Yeah. We're not going to change the rules all of a sudden. Yeah, we will see. We need to attract foreigners. We really need it. We need to invest in tourism.
Really?
Yes.
You have the biggest tourism industry in the world. You have more Americans than anyone else in the world. You have more.
It's changed
World
drastically during the COVID, after the COVID.
Really?
Because people wanted to travel again. But I think we can do much, much more. I think French cousins are much better than us.
But people go to Italy like bananas.
Yes. But the infrastructures there,
right?
We can do much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, you know, they're so hospitable. I mean, I don't know if it always feels very genuine in Italy, the hospitality culture.
Yeah, but that's true. That's not fake. It's really who we are. We really like, you know, meeting new people, having friends. We really like that, you know, all around Italy, you know, meeting, you know, again at dinner.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not expecting you to be an expert on this, but is it hard to get a visa if I wanted to come and set up a business in Italy? Are things like that difficult? Do you know?
Not really. Not really.
Not too hard.
No, not too.
If there's a business involved. Or...
Yes. Very easy to set up a company. And then if you have, it's not like any other, states where it's so difficult.
Okay.
I don't think it's more difficult than France or any other place in Europe.
And is it, if I wanted to buy property, commercial property?
Oh, that's very easy, yeah.
Yeah. What's difficult?
If you want to come and reside in Italy, then you need a visa, a working visa. It's a bit different. But if you just want to buy property.
That's easy.
But even if you want to set up a company, you don't need to reside in Italy to set up.
Do you need an Italian director?
No, you don't.
You don't need an Italian director? It can all be foreign?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would, the opinion of Italy, of sort of, the British are good at doing this, but it's generally like, oh God, doing business in Italy, it's a nightmare.
No, again, as I said, sometimes you have mental barriers and you think, even when you watch an American movie, they paint us like it was 50 years ago.
Yes, super bureaucratic.
It's 2025. So in Italy, I've got my phone with me, and if you, you don't have an ID card, that's fine. But if you have an ID card in Italy, now you don't need to have the paper. You have a paperless ID.
Okay.
Even the driving license. So if I have to drive or go to a hotel, they have to accept my driving license in your phone. Yeah. You have a QR code just to be sure that it's not fake. So it's from the government.
That's good. That's clever.
So it used to be, pizza and mandolin. Now it's something else.
Well, you've been brilliant, Marco. I mean, are there any other things that you feel for someone looking at coming to do business in Italy, set up in Italy? I mean, first of all, I think you've blown apart a lot of assumptions we would all make. It would take ages to form a company. It will be a bureaucratic nightmare. That just doesn't sound like that's true.
Well, even claims are becoming quicker.
Even claims, even legal claims. Yeah.
They're becoming quicker. But what I think the most amazing thing you can find in Italy are people. I think you can find amazing people. There are places in Italy, Polytechnic of Milan, Polytechnic of Turin, universities, incubators.
Very creative, as you said at the start. There's a creative mindset for the Italians, isn't it?
And I think with this AI thing, we will have an advantage because creativity will become more important.
Very good point.
And I think you agree.
Yeah. No, I think that's so, expertise, creativity. It's also the imperfections. The funny thing is that I think imperfection will become more and more valued. And that's almost art. That's almost, it's what's the Leonard Cohen line? Everything has a crack in it. That's how the light gets in. There's such beauty in imperfection,
Yeah, but that's very interesting that you say so, because I was reading today and I had no idea. Quantum computers, they are quite faster. Much, much faster than the old computers.
Certain things,
but they make mistakes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And the big problem is that they make mistakes because they're not binaries.
Yes, right.
And so they are quicker, but they make mistakes. And that's scary in a way. So we are creating machines that make mistakes.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, AI makes lots of mistakes, doesn't it? But in a very sort of specific way, it just sort of makes stuff up, or that's large language model AI.
Are British professionals afraid of AI?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, certain industries are, I think everyone's sort of putting a brave face on it, but you're quite right to say underneath it, I think I would be, if we weren't quite a diverse firm and we were a large legal firm doing certain things, I would be worried about a bunch of my workforce.
But the thing is, I'm not scary. I think humanity is going for the better. Violence was so common during the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
That was so close to us. Yeah, we still have problems. I'm not saying, especially these days, we cannot say that we don't have problems. But I think humanity went for the better. And making mistakes, correcting mistakes, making mistakes again. But so I think the whole technology thing is for the better.
Well, think about AI. A, it can speak every language, but B, it can bridge those cultural gaps. So I take an email now, particularly for my Indian client friends, they can be very hierarchical and always negotiating on price, which from a British perspective can just be exhausting. But I will just write the annoyed email I want to write. I give it to AI and I say, make that work in India. And it writes this incredibly polite email. And, I would have never phrased it all like that. They've pushed me to a point sometimes that my cultural problem is that I'm now at a point as a British person, I'm going to say how it is. And I'm going to say enough of this shit, do this, or but it doesn't. It's so respectful and I get a great reply. I send what it says and they're like, and what I want to happen happens, which is I want them to do X. And that's so nice because it's
a very good point.
And they write back and they say, absolutely, Andrew, we'll think about this. And I'm like,
I don't use it that much, but I ended up using it, especially for the things I do not want to do.
Yes, great way of putting it. Yeah, the difficult things.
Yeah, but not difficult because I can't do it, because I'm not able to do it, but just because I don't like it.
Just then, you've been brilliant, Marco. So just a little fun at the end. You need a paddle. It says business on one side. It says bullshit on the other. I'm going to name some terms and you need to tell me whether you think it is business or bullshit.
Okay.
And we can discuss.
Okay.
You clear? Hold the paddle up and you say business or bullshit. You're on radio and TV. Brilliant.
Okay.
So here we go. First one. I don't know how much this is a thing in Italy. Personal pronouns. Does that mean anything to you when people want to be called they or she or?
Bullshit.
Yeah, great.
Sorry.
I'm with you.
Political correctness.
Is it a thing in Italy? So I don't know what you'd say in Italian. How do you say he or she or they?
Lui, lei.
And so will people put them in brackets after their name that I
No,
want?
we don't do that.
You won't do it?
No, we don't do that.
Okay.
Up to now. Things are changing very fast, but we don't do that.
Do you know personality type tests? So there's Myers-Briggs. There's various tests you can do to understand are you an expressive person, you a sort of analytical type person. You aware of these?
I'm shy because I think it's business.
Okay, interesting.
Because I think if you want to connect with people, you need to understand
how they think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done tests?
Yeah, I've done it. Okay. And it was quite true.
Yeah.
It's simplifying, but to some extent, I think they're useful.
Yeah, I'm with you. To
some extent, especially not for external people because you don't know them very much. But building a team, it can be useful.
Yeah, I agree. Some silly questions. Right wing. You think that's a business or bullshit?
Right wing? What do you mean?
Well, who knows what it means anymore? But traditionally that means you want
my idea? Okay. Bullshit.
And left wing?
I would say bullshit again, but I can tell you why. Because again, with the things of pronouns, I think the left wings has lost the closeness to the people. And it's a huge mistake.
Oh, it's the example that pronouns were a good example of them losing touch with people.
I think they should talk about much more important things than pronouns.
Yeah, I completely agree.
They should talk about people. They should talk about guarantees. In Italy, they were fighting Berlusconi so much, for example, that they forgot where they came from. So you don't need to have an enemy in order to communicate your way of life, to communicate what you think about the society. That's before enemies. And I think the left wing lost this.
It has got very lost, these details. I mean, my theory is that the conversation has become too hijacked by very young people. These sort of, people who care what pronouns are generally, you would care about that when you're 17. You wouldn't care about it when you're 27.
Listen, I'm Italian, so you need to create some context in what I'm saying. But one of my closest friends, he lives in San Francisco, okay? And he told me that they closed the school for days because there was a transgender boy and they didn't know what toilet he should be using.
Oh my God.
He, she, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, should be using. And that's where we went too far in this, I think.
Yeah.
Approaching diversities is a very complex thing, but the way we should approach diversity is not the way that they are teaching now.
We're evolving, I think. We're working it out.
Hopefully, because that created damages for the very people that were trying to protect.
Yeah. And it brings too much attention to it. I mean, on that note, diversity quotas, which is the idea that you...
That's total bullshit.
Yeah. Have you experienced that?
It's totally against meritocracy. It's totally against who we are and what we think.
Yeah.
It makes no sense in my opinion. And I know it's not very popular to say, but I don't like it. And I don't like it because of what I was saying. It doesn't protect the very people we want to protect.
Do you know, part of the issue, isn't it, on why is the left lost what they should have had, is it's got to a point that you can't, if you say anything that is against these sort of extreme left things, you say against diversity quotas, you say against pronouns, you get condemned as being like this evil person. You must be the others. It's like, what happened to debate? Again, that was supposed to be, what happened to just chatting about these things and having an opinion,
Because enemies come first. That's the problem.
Enemies come first.
So you need to think about it. In Italy, they were so against Berlusconi that they forgot. In Italy, you have the left wing, which is much more in favor of convicting people today, for example. Okay, which is crazy because you should be the party of the guarantees, but the enemy comes first, and then you forget about who you are.
So Berlusconi was the enemy, sort of almost Trump-like right-wing figure. It was just too much.
Exactly,
and then people want to convict him, and then they sort of become out to get people, and then that's sort of you're taking on a mantra.
And then it becomes culture.
Yeah,
and then you forget about who you are, because you should be protecting, the rights of the people, especially if you are left wing.
That's great. Final question: equal paternity leave, equal when you have babies.
Business. Absolutely.
And does it apply in Italy?
Absolutely. I don't think so.
Is it not?
No, I don't think so. Fathers would ever ask for paternity leave.
Would they not?
It's not.
It's not really done. You're a matriarchal society still.
Yes, we are.
That's a nice thing, though.
Oh. As always, powerful, strong women.
As we have three men in the room, we all relate to that.
Can be tough. But it means less conflict, probably.
You've been absolutely brilliant, Marco. And I mean, obviously, if you had an object to share, you've kindly spared us some time in between some other busy stuff you've got going on in London. But I'm sure it would be food, wouldn't it? There is no greater expression of Italy than that,
Yes, I think.
Thank you, Marco. Well, your firm, if anyone wants to find out more about Marco Pistis, his firm IPG, you can find on the internet. I mean, what do you Google? IPG?
IPG LEX.
Oh, yeah, LEX. IPG LEX.
.it.
Yeah, fantastic firm. If you need any help in Italy with anything, really, they're a cross-discipline firm like we are at Uri Clark. Well, thank you so much. That has been...
Thank you, Andy. That was really nice.
Oh, it was really nice.
And it's been a long time, but I had so much fun. Thank you.
Oh, a pleasure. Thank you, Dee. That was Business Without Baggage, and we'll be back with a new episode soon. Ciao.